Good morning, everybody. So happy to be here today to share a bit of the journey which Metro Group has gone through over the last 4 years, trying to transform a company which was defined by size into something which we believe is much more designed about customer centricity. Now, I have 20 minutes. Those are the 20 minutes between you and the lunch, so I'm really going to hurry up so that you have your food very soon. But meanwhile, I want to tell you a bit of the learnings which we applied at Metro Group. So let me start with the first. Yes, Metro is a sizable company. We're a company roughly 60 billion in turnover. Last year, our underlying earnings were about 1.5 billion in EBIT. We're present in more than 30 countries, and yes, we have more than 200,000 people. So it's a large company. It's quite a sizable group. The company has been defined by success over many decades and has been created throughout a couple of rules which have been applied in our sector in retail and wholesale. One of them has been purchasing. We've been very strong in developing scale, in developing access to assortment, and making things really, really efficient and effective. Once we got the product, it was all about getting the product to the people, and advertising, of course, has been the rule of the game for many, many years in the various formats which we were running. As I said, scale and synergies have been applied throughout the business, and Metro was well known for being very standardized. So what we did was basically following some standard procedures, some standards which we used for stores, supply chain, whatever. And following this rule, my predecessors did a great job in internationalizing the business. So the fact that we are in more than 30 countries has been their achievement, and it has worked out for so many years so well that Metro grew up to the 60 billion turnover. Now, you've seen this chart before, somewhere in school or in university or wherever, but this chart tells you the life cycle of a business, and we've gone through this as well. So the founders in the 60s, they created this great idea of Metro, a cash and carry format at the time, which was so successful that it was scaled. It was scaled in Germany, then scaled across Europe, then scaled towards the east into Eastern Europe, and then into Asia. Very successful. Now, somewhere, we came up to the maturation point, as everybody comes up when you run a business, and there was somewhere in the early 2000s. We saw like-for-like starting to drop, first slowing down, then declining. And at the time, to be honest, we had lots of difficulty in finding the right answer to the phenomena, what was going on. Now, you better find an answer, because otherwise you turn into divestment, or you come to the realignment, which is all what we wanted to achieve since 2012. Now, the world we are in, I don't need to tell you, you are the experts, you are fintech experts, you're observing the market and you're observing the digitalization. I don't want to go into the technical detail, and I don't want to go into those numbers, but ask yourself how you have been interacting with your fellow colleagues, your former colleagues, people from university, your family, just 4 or 5 years ago. How much did you use a WhatsApp or an Instagram or a Twitter or whatever? And if you're honest to yourself, the answer is to a much lower degree. And this is the same thing if you look at the way people consume and how they make their choice on a product, how they choose a product, a service, and actually how they rate the company that either provides that service well or doesn't provide it at all. So what has changed is not the technology. It's not the penetration of smartphones and tablets and the like. It is a shift in power. Because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the power of information was with those providing the product. The power of information and the wisdom about what's good and what isn't good is with the customer. So a complete shift, up to the point that we, within Metro, call the customer the superhero, because she or he can, if she wants or he wants, they can know it all. Now that leads to the phenomena that we need to look at our business with completely different eyes. And we need to find a new way to assess what makes success look like in the future. As I said, in the past, it was all about getting the products. And if you were the dominating force in a certain sector, you were successful, that's it. The only thing you needed to do was make sure that as many people come to your business and acquire products. So traffic and conversion was the rule of the game. Now in today's world, we would say also this has shifted completely. The strongest asset base of a trading format, is it wholesale or retail, is not just the assortment or the services provided, it's the other way around. The biggest asset we have at Metro Group is our customer base. And we're very proud and honored that we have very loyal customers across all formats. And the key question that we're asking ourselves since 2012 is, what else? What else can we do to do the things we are doing better? Or what else can we do which is missing today, which we should provide tomorrow? So in another way, completely turn it around in the way of thinking. And if I look into our largest business, which is the wholesale business, Metro and Macro, there the question really was, what are we here for? Now, that is an obvious question. In a public listed company, you should provide some profits. You should provide some growth. All of these answers came in 2012 when we started to really ask the core question, what are we here for? What is the purpose of a business like Metro being a wholesale business? Well, the purpose is this. We are there for the small guy. We are there for the small and medium-sized entrepreneur. We are a wholesale company. We are a B2B company. And if you really want to understand what is the formula of what we want to do in the future, well, it comes down to the point which is on this chart. If we help the small entrepreneur to become a bit more successful, but on a sustainable and repeating basis, that's when we succeed. And those customers you see on that chart are typical customers of ours. We have a very large presence in food service, hotels, restaurants, and catering. We have a sizable presence in the independent groceries, especially in Eastern Europe. And of course, we are also serving all kinds of other independent businesses. Is it an IT company, a small lawyer firm, or whatever? But the key purpose which we have is make them just a bit more successful, because that is not only creating satisfaction and support, it is creating loyalty and sustainable growth. Now that led to the discussion which we had back in 2013 about what's the core of our brand. And the core of our brand since then is not the big Metro. It's not that we are the largest company in this sector. We are not defining ourselves by size, we are defining ourselves by relevance. And that's why at the time in 2013 we said the new core of our brand is we want to be champion for independent business. And that is purposeful. We're doing something good to a community of small entrepreneurs and want to do that on sustainable rules with sustainable values, and therefore create something which is much more meaningful than a transaction which you do day by day. So yes, we tried to change the company almost 180 degrees. Now, what we've done since then is also reflected in communication, in many ways how we deal with these things within the company. So having said we want to help the independent entrepreneur, we also changed the way how we articulate our brand. Since 2014, we have a new campaign running, which is called You and Metro. And the You and Metro consciously putting the customer first, but not only the customer, because we know the value creation that we can generate is only possible with partners. So it is also the You and Metro to all our fellow partners. Is it on product? Is it on service? Is it on new solutions? And last but not least, actually you should even say first for value creation, we recognize our business is 100% people. We don't run factories, we don't have a software formula, we don't have a chemical code. We are in the people business. So therefore, since 2014, we also used this campaign internally to tell the people it's you and Metro. You are the ones who make this company succeed or struggle in the future. And we tried many ways to inspire people in order to make them more active and engaged. And if you are interested in some of these things, you can go on YouTube and search a bit and you will find some crazy stuff around this. Now, if you look into the company and the core of this wholesale business, yes, we are champion for independent business. Only that business itself is already a 38 billion turnover business. It is much more customized and tailored to the local needs, so we gave up international standardization and we went for tailor-made country by country, so therefore each country is fully empowered to choose your target group and adjust the business to the demand you have in that country. We went away from transaction and we want to move towards solution mindset. Ideally, somebody who opens a new business, a new restaurant in Copenhagen, at some point in time would answer the question, why is Metro not here? The unfortunate truth is we had to leave 1.5 years ago because we were not strong enough. In many other countries, is it Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Russia, Czech, customers should know, if I want to open a new business, I go to Makro or to Metro, because these guys provide more than just a product. We also accelerated fast in food service distribution, so delivering product to the home of our customers and making sure that they are served both in the store and by the truck stopping in front of their business. Now, one of the key things which we learned along that journey was this digitalization I talked about is something that happens to our customers. Now, if we talk to all of them, they use the tools I mentioned before for private life. There must be something they could use to run their business better. And if you look at this chart, you see various examples. One is the obvious one: make the table reservation online and then go to the place where you want to dine. But you could improve efficiency, you could improve supply chain, you could improve shrinkage in a business which today is exposed to many headwinds when it comes to economics. So running an independent food service business right now in Europe is not a walk in the park. It is a challenging task. Using digital tools sounds like the most obvious thing to be done. Now, that's why we looked at it a few years ago. Why did we look at it? Well, we looked at it because in Western and Southern Europe, we have 2 million independent entrepreneurs. 2 million. Not chained, not industrialized food service companies, hotels, restaurant, catering. These people generate 400 billion turnover. So I hope you agree it's not a small sector. They have a purchasing volume relevant for Metro of roughly 120 billion. Now, when we look at Metro and our capability, out of the 2 million, 1.5 million are our customers. They are card holders of Metro and Makro. So we know 3/4 of the total population, and we know them well. And we have more than 3,500 salespeople on the street every day. So we have a relevance in this sector, we have a reach. Now the question still is, what does digital look like today in the sector? Well, it is this. It is dark. If you ask yourself, the businesses you visit, is it a restaurant or a pub or whatever, how many digital tools you see? The answer, a bit provocative, is essentially nothing. So we ask ourselves, well, that could be because of you not enjoying digital tools there or whatever. Well, for everything for the back office, for everything to optimize your business, there is no argument that you could not use it. So the question was, is there a lack of ideas? Is there nothing around? So we looked at it, and we asked ourselves, are there things, are there new solutions that provide value for our customers, the B2B customer and the B2C customer, their end consumer that comes to their business? And the answer is yes, and some of those answers actually are around, because they are around payment and checkout and making your presence in such a business more convenient. Now, if they generate value, how many of them can really come up to light? How many can live up to the potential and not just be theoretically around? So we looked at that, and the answer is, well, quite a few. Not all of them, but quite a few. Of course, the question needs to be, is that finally then the starting point of a digitalization of a sector which until now is completely analog? And our conviction is we are in the middle of the starting phase to see something like this, where we as Metro, we believe we can play a vital role. We are not the tech company, we are not the innovator company, we are not a venture capitalist, we are not a fintech company, but we know what the sector wants, and we can help to make the sector work. And that's the role we want to play in this, with a give-first mentality. We want to give something to our customers, and digital is among them. So that eventually, in 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, that ecosystem might look like this. And there is significant value creation opportunity in this, as I said, very sizable, attractive industry. And lots of opportunity for our customers, lots of opportunity for a lot of people here around, and certainly lots of opportunity for Metro as well. So therefore, the question is more a symbolic one. Is there value creation opportunity for the HoReCa sector? The answer, of course, is yes, and it is a significant one. Now, while we have been looking at ways to deal with this and address that, we ran into a company called Techstars, and I'm happy they're around here as well, a company based in Boulder, Colorado, with a track record of 10 years in business development. They help young people to turn an idea into a real business with a very sophisticated program. We signed a deal a bit more than a year ago. We conducted our first program together with them with the aim to make sure that the best ideas which we get out of more than 500 applications are exposed to the knowledge and the competence of Techstars and their partners and have access to the quite relevant hotel, restaurant, and catering experience Metro can provide, plus getting selective access to our customers in order to make sure that they understand whether what they do is real and can turn into a sustainable value creation. So we started that program on October 13th in Berlin. It was just finished end of January earlier this year. And the companies which participated have made a great development. They have really developed from nice and good ideas into something which, at the end of the day, we all at Metro, but everybody at Techstars and RGA who worked with us on that program, turn out to be absolutely amazed and surprised on how these guys delivered value. I cannot go through all these details of these companies, but some of them actually have a fintech angle within their model, and they are all about doing one thing, which is make the business of our customers just a bit better. Now, we just signed an agreement with Techstars. We're going to continue this program. This was just the first batch, so we're going to continue this now for at least 3 times, and we're actually asking for applications as of April 12th. We're going to announce this to the market, so we're going to reopen the program, which is then going to start in September 2016. Now, the many things I said, if I take now Metro Group and the journey which we have gone through in the last 4 years, from a company which was losing sales, which balance sheet was quite levered, we turned into a company in the year 2016 where we have 5 billion less debt. We have 10 consecutive quarters of like-for-like growth in our core business, the wholesale business, and 6 consecutive quarters in our consumer electronics business. So you could say we're doing better. Some would say we're doing well. But if you look into the things that matter for the future, it is about these attributes. We believe that focus is the rule of the game, and that means that you have to have full attention on the agenda of change in your business. Second, more empowerment, less in the center, more in the country. More entrepreneurship is not just a buzzword, is not just the fashion of the week. It is our strong belief that in the wholesale and retail business, that is absolutely essential. Because only then you have the flexibility and agility to understand what your customer wants and then start to provide the right solution in Spain, in Austria, in Czech, in China, in Japan. And there's not that one fits all anymore. That's gone. That's long gone and will probably never come back again. And in that context, we need to be faster. We need to make sure that the things we understand, the things we want to change, actually occur on a very rapid pace, which finally will lead to superior growth. Now, having gone through this in the group for quite some time now, we came to a conclusion which we announced last Wednesday to the market and to the media, which is Metro Group will turn into 2 groups. So what we are all about to do is we will generate 2 sector-leading companies, one in the wholesale sector, one in the consumer electronics retail sector. We just kicked that off on Wednesday night, and we are very excited to run this project because we are so convinced that this will lead to superior value creation for customers to start with, for our business partners in the industry, and for our people working for Metro. So eventually this will end up somewhere mid-2017 by creating a wholesale company with a food specialist format in Germany in the size of 38 billion, I mentioned that before, and a consumer electronics company which will be 22 billion in size and actually 700 million EBITDA present in 15 countries. Absolute number 1 consumer electronics format across Europe, and both of them will enjoy better flexibility and possibility to grow. Why is that? Well, first of all, because of the agenda I mentioned before and the change which has occurred in a similar way on the consumer electronics side, but certainly because we have very, very strong assets within the company And as I said before, the strongest asset we have are the customers that are with us. 21 million B2B cardholders of Metro and Makro who come to us on a recurring basis. 1 million customers per day, and a sales force which is unmatched by nobody on international terms. Consumer electronics, we have 5 million touch points with customers every day. Is it in the store or online? And we are one of the fastest growing online retailers right now in Europe with a quite heavy media spend, which we will turn into even superior growth in the coming future. So having said all this, let me conclude, because it's lunchtime now and my time is up. I hope I could bring across that we turn from a big metro, very internationalized, very standardized, into something which as of tomorrow will be more what it is today, which is absolutely customer-centric and focused on solutions instead of transactions. Thank you very much and have a good lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Olaf. Always a pleasure.